Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, to my super chat, you give me every incentive to rock these live streams. You allow me to do what I do. And you really allow me to be an independent voice. So to my Patreons and to my live stream super chats, thank you so very, very much. You allow me to just say what I want to say and be an independent voice, and I just appreciate all your support. Ladies and gentlemen, Luke St. Martin, Eric, H526, thank you for making my chat and the chat room and my live streams really a fantastic place. Ladies and gentlemen, I urge everyone to start their own YouTube channels, websites, because your political voice should not be relegated to just social media if you want people to remember your thoughts, because, social media is fleeting. There was MySpace, and all the current platforms aside from YouTube and any video-based platform will go the way of MySpace. So when you start your YouTube channels and when you begin live streaming, you'll realize that without good moderators, your chat room goes to places you don't want it to go. So I have two of the best moderators in all of YouTube, Quick Draw, Luke St. Martin, and the Regulator, Eric H526. Thank you very, very much, both of you. I'm going to try to tell you something. I'm going to focus on Kanye West running. And I'm telling you, it's extremely important. It's the biggest news story politically for President Trump that nobody is really talking about. The credibility, the legitimacy of the Democratic Party rests upon the popular vote and Russian interference that never happened. It never happened. Not one person was altered by Facebook ads. Not one person said, gosh, I'm voting for President Trump now because of Facebook ads. It never happened. It never, ever, ever, ever happened. Okay? That never happened. So you have to ask yourself, what is it that has propped up the Democratic Party for the past year, 2 years, 3 years, going on 4 years? It is the belief that President Trump is an anomaly. It is the belief that President Trump is a one-term president. He slipped through the cracks. He's not really a president. He's illegitimate. Putin helped him. Russia helped him. He appealed to the most base and negative emotions, the negative impulses of people, as if being called deplorable and calling everyone a bigot and a racist, that as if that would be very an appeal to positive emotions for Democrats. But President Trump, according to the Democratic Party and media, is an unhinged madman who is a despot and authoritarian who is ruining democracy for future generations and will only be here for one term because the United States of America, whether it was because of Russian interference or he didn't win the popular vote, had a momentary lapse of judgment. And the Democratic Party is here to let you know that, well, we're coming back. We won the popular vote, and more people wanted us. So we might have lost the election, but we didn't really lose. And by the way, Clinton is not going to be nominee. Biden is not going to be nominee. It's going to be Hillary Clinton. But you have to understand why I'm focusing on Kanye West running. It is extremely important, and you have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm very, very, I'm extremely, extremely excited about this because you have somebody who is friends with President Trump. He is doing this for President Trump, but also for himself. He is doing this for President Trump, but also for himself. He is a billionaire. Trump is a billionaire. Here is a world-renowned celebrity artist, music mogul, and Democrats have now stated for 3 months or for 2 months, they went quickly from Biden's, well, if you have a problem voting, finding out who you're voting for, then you ain't black comment with Charlemagne. They went from that to elevate elevate the voices of people of color. Well, here you have a black man who's a billionaire and who is a world-renowned musical artist, celebrity, mogul, businessman, and look what they're doing to him. Every liberal pundit is trying to denigrate, demean, insult, mock, disparage Kanye West. What happened to elevating the voices of people of color? Well, when it comes to anybody, it doesn't matter who you are, what your background is, what your ethnicity is. If it gets to a message that is contrary to the Democratic Party, you better believe they are going to descend upon the person with such vengeance and vitriol and venom that they're going to try to ruin and silence whomever they view as an obstacle or a threat or somebody that points out their numerous sins and flaws. They want uniformity in their viewpoints, in their ideology. They want complete obedience and allegiance. They do not want diversity of thought. They want one singular message. Anything that suits the Democratic Party. Just ask Tara Reid, ask Kanye West, ask anyone who goes up against the Democratic Party. Ask Jill Stein. Ask Tulsi Gabbard. Ask Bernie Sanders. Actually, don't ask me. Don't ask me. If you ask me, I'll tell you something. I just want to say, Putin, if you're listening, I don't want your help, Putin. I don't want your help. In fact, you know who you can give your help to? Kanye West. Yeezy. Give your help to Yeezy. Not Easy-E, Yeezy. Because I don't want your help, Putin. You helped me enough in 2016, and then you helped Jill Stein, and then you helped Tulsi Gabbard with your Russian Facebook ads. And then poor Deborah Wasserman Schultz. Oh, how I love Deborah Wasserman Schultz. She was so nice to me. And she helped me implement that Medicare for All bill that was passed in the House. Not. That'll happen when the Messiah comes, which will be possibly never. But don't help me, Putin. We know you're helping Kanye West. We know what you're all about, Putin, creating discord and unhappiness within the sanctity of the Democratic Party. Anyway, I am trying to tell everyone something very, 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 very important. Every Trump supporter should vote for Trump, but every Trump supporter should give a lot of encouragement, respect, because it's not just about winning. Of course, I'm very happy because Kanye West is friends with President Trump. He wants President Trump to win. That's why he's doing this. And he wants to win in 2024. And he can become the Republican nominee in 2024 if he crafts a Second Amendment message, policies that resonate with conservatives. He would decimate and obliterate and steamroll Rand Paul, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, John Kasich, Mitt Romney. Do you think that any of them could touch Kanye West in a debate if Kanye West developed and communicated a platform like President Trump did? Trump was able to defeat all of them through personality first and then a focus on policies. But it was personality first. So I'm trying to tell you, if and when President Trump, or if and when, I'm trying to tell you, November 3rd is going to be about more. Orange Girl 55. Kanye will be the new Russian when they lose. Exactly. Orange Girl 55. That is 100% right. But the issue I'm trying to tell you is they're going to lose right now, with or without Kanye running, but he's going to be almost certainly on the California and New York ballots. That's going to take hundreds of thousands, if not millions of votes away from Democrats. Do you know what that is going to do to the Democratic Party? Do you know what that's going to do to the Democratic Party? You have pundits now. You have pundits now that are talking about racism that were sued for racial discrimination not long ago. You have pundits that said believe, but they don't believe Tara Reid. You have pundits that say elevate voices, but they are not elevating Kanye West. You have pundits that say Trump would worked with Russia. Trump withheld assistance from the Ukraine because of Biden. Everything they stand for is going to be shoved down the toilet on November 3rd. The polls are nonsense. They're public relations nonsense. Beverly! Kanye entering is driving the lefties nuts. It's driving them nuts. Beverly! Beverly! It is driving them nuts. The Matrix, the program, the computer program. This is why Beverly and, let's see, Big Honker, Dems will take it in. Yeah, I love you, the big one, but I'm just, well, I don't even know. That's hilarious, but I'm just going to remove the message just because of YouTube guidelines. Wally Pop knows I love you. I love you, everybody, but I'm just super paranoid and cautious. But Big H, I'm going to call you Big H. Big H, you know I love you, but I just have to be 100% safe. But it ain't going to be good. Beverly, Big H, they are going to descend into a cauldron of fury and apoplectic, hysterical, maniacal, rabid, frothing at the mouth. I mean, the meltdown is going to make 2016 look like what was that movie? It's a Wonderful Life. It's going to make 2016 look like the most amazing, like the happiest moment in Democratic Party history. It's going to look like Bill Clinton's re-election when they lose again on November 3rd. Valerie, press singing, go Kanye, go Kanye. Exactly. Luke St. Martin, hello. Eric H526. Exactly, Valerie. But you have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, this is the biggest story that's taking place. He takes votes away in California, away in New York. They do not win the popular vote if they don't have Gary Johnson taking 4.5 million votes with the Libertarian Party away from President Trump. Do you understand what happens to the Democratic Party if they don't get the popular vote and lose the Electoral College? If they lose the Electoral College and then win the popular vote, it's completely irrelevant because Trump will go 8 years, like I said he would, and it's going to be against Hillary Clinton. It's not going to be against Biden. So I will have made the biggest political call of all time. You think Clinton's going to say, Kanye West can run, but I'm not going to run? Biden has not been heard from by the American public. They're hiding him. The second he even utters a word on a national stage, people will be like, "Oh my God, we need Madam Secretary." She's the only. Hillary Clinton is the only chance they have, and they can actually win with Clinton. So, if President Trump doesn't take Madam Secretary seriously, and if he retweets and just if it's a self-induced loss, President Trump is running against himself. He's running against himself. And Kanye West is helping immeasurably. Every negative, lie, deceptive, absurd allegation against Trump has been already debunked, or they found no Russian interference. They found 0 Facebook ads that led to anyone's votes being altered. When Bernie Sanders was cheated, all they said was, well, the votes, Clinton got the most votes. What's the problem? Well, Trump got the most votes. What's the problem? Kanye West is impervious to the Democratic Party machine. He's impervious to media. Most people have a difficult time going up against a public relations apparatus, mainstream media, or the machine, a public relations machine that usually eats up people and spits them out. President Trump, he manipulates media. Kanye West does as well. Because Democrats, celebrities, media, they're at one point enamored with the fame and the wealth of Kanye West, but they can't remove themselves from their own hypocrisy. Douglas Delaney, thanks for your show. You bring hope in light of our crazy MSM. Thanks, friend. Thank you, Douglas. Thank you very much. Douglas, be here November 3rd. Be here November 3rd, because November 3rd, President Trump's going to win. The polls are nonsense. They have no message. President Trump has numerous policy objectives. Foreign policy is bringing Americans home from never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. In terms of domestic policy, he signed the First Step Act. He increased funding to historically black colleges and universities and kept the funding going. He has given more money. His administration has allocated more money for historically black colleges and universities than President Obama's first 4 years. He's the only person to sign an executive order combating anti-Semitism on college campuses. And I wonder why Democrats don't champion that. Oh, that's right. I wonder why Democrats don't care about that. Oh, okay, I know why. He is the first president to step foot in North Korea. He's the only president we've had to truly address the trade imbalance with China. And then the people are their usual apoplectic selves. Oh my God, the tariffs. Well, what are you going to do? Get into the Trans-Pacific Partnership? They don't care about the Trans-Pacific Partnership. The whole point of tariffs is that it's a short-term tactic to address unfair trade practices and to address the fact that we have a $400 billion trade deficit in part because of unfair trade practices. President Obama also engaged in tariffs. The European Union, the unions within the EU, ask their countries the governments of their countries to engage in tariffs. Tariffs are a short-term effective tool because the number one economy in the world in about less than 30 years will be India. China will be number one. India will be number two, and we could be a distant third. Or third, but we could be a distant third. President Trump, Kanye West will help with the protest vote. So there's a professor on Fox News who is 100% right. He's talking about, look, there are millions of people who don't like Trump, but who can't stand Democrats. Those people might be persuaded to vote Democrat, but they'll write in or they'll vote Kanye West because that is a way to kind of stick it to the system. The system needs the current system that Trump is battling against. See, there's a reason that the Lincoln Project and the Democratic Party, and there's a reason that Joe Biden would veto Medicare for all, and Bernie Sanders is 100% fine with that. That's because the entire left is really pretty much socially liberal Bush administration voters. So the country has changed to where you have establishment Republicans who have more in common with Hillary Clinton than they do Trump. And you have I'm with her voters who have more in common with Bush administration voters than they do Trump. And the reason that you have media and the reason you have media and Hollywood and the music industry and the New York Times, MSNBC, the Washington Post, CNN, the reason you have all of these people going after Trump is because the Bush administration ended. Then you had 8 years of President Obama, but President Obama continued a great many of Bush's policies. And at the end of the day, they were friends. And at the end of the day, they had the same intelligence apparatus that got us into never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. Also tell President Obama, yeah, go ahead and intervene in Libya. And now there are human beings bought and sold. But they don't care. They don't care. They care what you say on social media because they live in a cyber reality. Old school dad, man. Vote blue no matter who won't work now. No, it won't. No, it won't. And old school dad, man, they have no one to blame but themselves. They spent 4 years talking about everything possible except they have 4 years talking about everything possible except policies for Democratic voters. They're going to get abysmal voter turnout. They've spent the past 3 to 4 months saying that if you leave the house, you'll combust into flames. And they believe it. And then you have Biden, who the only reason people voted for Biden, the reason that he got so many votes in the Democratic primary is because his name was not Bernie Sanders or Trump. The Democratic Party views Bernie Sanders. They despise Bernie Sanders. They would much rather have President Trump than President Bernie Sanders, which is funny because Bernie's a human doormat. So, old school dad man, thank you. The Magnificent Tube, 800 friends. HA is awesome. Also check really graceful. And Officer Tatum. Oh yeah, Brandon Tatum is amazing. We got this. Exactly. The Magnificent Tube. Thank you. Thank you, the Magnificent Tube. Thank you so very, very, very much. Wally Pop, Joe Biden, the Fresh Prince of Smell here. What is that? Is that eucalyptus? Raspberry Supreme. Oh my God, so good. Wally Pop, thank you. The Magnificent Tube, thank you so very, very much. But I'm telling you, I can't look. You know how I obsess over Hillary Clinton being nominee, and she will be? Don't trust me. I've been telling you since 2017. The DNC spokeswoman with Bill Hemmer at Fox stated we are not officially nominating Joe Biden. So don't trust me. When it happens, I will have made the biggest political call of all time. And I'm getting heat for it. It hasn't happened. You're what if it doesn't happen? Are you gonna still, run your big fat mouth, AJ Badman? Well, yeah, because I'll be too happy yelling and screaming in joy, in jubilance, when Biden gets completely demolished in the popular vote and the Electoral College. So nice, Senator Blackburn. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. So you have a Hillary Clinton advisor who is using profanity. This is hilarious. Wow, look at this. Look at this. And of course, this is the most horrendous thing. Of course, Twitter is not going to. They don't suspend the Clinton advisor. Of course not. And that's the problem. That's one of the reasons they're okay. President Trump is going to take the Democratic Party down, but when he does so, he'll take social media down with him. It's really interesting. It's really interesting when it's really interesting when you look at what's going. Nobody can see. This is what I can't even get it out. Nobody can see past the day. Nobody can see past the day. Think about what takes place. Think about what takes place, ladies and gentlemen. Think about what takes place. On November 3rd when they lose. They're not going to win. They're not going to. Biden's not 15 points up. So that's nonsense. That's nonsense. Harold Walters! If you think Kanye votes will take away your if you think Kanye votes will take away your party votes, then your party's voters are Howard Walters, thank you. Howard, thank you. Webby. I mean, and that means also your party didn't do anything to. That means also your party didn't do anything to. That means also your party focused on Russia for 4 years. Howard, exactly. Webby! To my Australian crew, Webby! Thank you! Thank you, Webby! Webby, thank you! Shungu Patsika! To my Australian crew, Shungu Patsika, thank you! Keep it up, thank you so very much. Webby! Shungu, thank you so very, very much. I have some amazing viewers in the UK, Australia, New Zealand, Nepal, Canada. I'm really thankful. I'm really thankful. It means a lot to me. Shungu, thank you so very much. Webby, thank you. Shungu and Webby, thank you. And Jimbo and all my Australian crew, thank you. Mitchell Smith. I agree with the voter turnout will be decreased, thus big push for mail-in voting. Although these times can be stressful, this is history. It's history, Mitchell, and this is what I'm trying to stress. I'm trying to stress, Mitchell, Shungu, Webby, Doug, Howard, the Magnificent Two, Lollipop, everyone here. I'm trying to stress the following. Just look at, we're only 4 months away from November. We're approaching the end of July, August, September, October. We have 3 months, people. That's the blink of an eye. They think they're going to win. I don't think they have. If you lose the Super Bowl, do you have a plan for the next season to win the Super Bowl? Do they have a plan after Clinton loses? They do not have a plan. The Republicans don't need a plan because President Trump isn't really a Republican. Just ask the Lincoln Project. Thank God he's not really a Republican. That's why people are voting for him. That's why he's going to win. Kanye West is not a Republican or a Democrat. That's why people will vote for him, because he offers a message that isn't focus group driven. You have the same pundits who got sued for racial discrimination making money off, quote-unquote, calling out racism. I mean, my God. My God. Jimbo! 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 To my Australian crew, thank you. I am very honored that I have viewers in other countries. It makes me feel great. It really does make me feel great. And also, the YouTube algorithm. The YouTube algorithm loves viewers in other countries, especially on live streams. I don't know. I've been told this from my YouTube representative that YouTubers that have YouTubers that have viewers in other countries, it's better for the channel. So, Jimbo, thank you. As always, Tammy Eaton. I spent most of my money on Carlin's live stream. You two should do a live chat. She's fabulous. Oh, thank you, Tammy. I appreciate that. Greatly appreciate it. Tammy Eaton, thank you. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you. Tammy, thank you so very much. If I told you every day for 4 years that Trump is an anomaly, he is a nightmare, he is a bad dream, you will wake up from Trump. If for 4 years, ladies and gentlemen, you had marriages and couples and family bonds and friendships broken because of maniacal, apoplectic, very sad and pathetic imbeciles who call up their conservative friends or their Trump-supporting friends and say, I can't be your friend anymore. But you're okay with Bush, who got us into never-ending conflict, but President Trump is removing Americans from harm's way and from never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. They don't have a plan B. They don't have... You have, ladies and gentlemen, you have marriages. You have relationships where it's like, honey, again? I have a headache. Again? I'm thinking of Trump. Again? For 4 years, you're thinking of Trump every day? Every day you're thinking of Trump? You talked about Hillary's emails. I didn't say anything. You said she probably wanted to hide her communication. But that's why she was using a private server, whatever. I don't care. I voted for her anyway. You are just like the Trumpers and the deplorables, and that's why she lost, because you brought up her emails. And you can kiss our marriage goodbye. I'm calling a lawyer. I'm calling a lawyer tomorrow. What? I voted for Clinton. I'm calling a lawyer. We're done. We're done. The kids are out of the home. We're done. I'm divorcing you. I'm divorcing you because even though you voted for Hillary Clinton and you gave $2,000 or $200 in donations or whatever, you said something disparaging about her 4 years ago, and that's why Trump won. I don't want to be with anyone who's even remotely Trumpish. I'm not Trumpish. What are you talking about? That's exactly what's going to take place. It's going to be fantastic. Orange Grove 55! I'm in California, not an international viewer, but sometimes California feels like... Orange Grove 55! Well, it's another lockdown, and we're lockdown again. I don't know why lockdown, and we're going to lock down tomorrow. I'm sorry, we have to shut down everything. People are breathing. Orange Grove 55, thank you. Big H, Big H, Big H! November 3rd, the Dems are going to get... You mean with seltzer water, don't you, Big H? Orange Grove 55! Big H. You mean with seltzer water, don't you? Climb BMX for the better of this channel. Climb to my Canadian viewers. Thank you. To my Canadian viewers, thank you so very much. Climb BMX, thank you. What can I tell you, ladies and gentlemen? Climb BMX. I have a great many Canadian viewers, and I thank you all. Look, not only is this because I love MC Breed. This is the Ain't No Future in Your Frontin', but DMX is one of the great rappers and musical artists of all time. And DMX is amazing. I love DMX. And he has a great song. It's called Get It On, or Let's Get It On. Let's see. Get It On the Floor. Okay, he is an amazing song, okay? And that's basically going to be President Trump's anthem. Going after November 3rd, when Democrats lose, because then, I mean, when Democrats lose, it's like they're not going to be able to really save face. So who knows what they're capable of in terms of, and Trump's going to be like, let's get it on, whatever you want to do, because they're not going to be like, November 4th is going to be even more chaotic than anything we'll see before November 3rd. And at that point, you're going to have a very rude awakening for media and the Democratic Party. You cannot consistently make up things and create and fabricate allegations against somebody. And you can't consistently lie and deceive. And you can't consistently say, well, we're going to win, you just wait. And then if you lose again, But I love DMX. He is one of the great musical artists. One of the great rappers of all time. Jasher! Do you think the RNC and DNC conventions are actually going to happen? And what about the debates? I think that they'll never allow Biden to debate Trump because it's pretty much going to be the end of the Democrats but I think that you're going to have you're going to have debates with Clinton versus Trump. And I think the conventions are going to happen. I think that Hillary is going to accept the nomination. Hillary is going to accept the nomination at the convention. Hillary Clinton will accept the nomination at the convention. That's the only chance they have. That is the only chance they have. Just the only chance. The absolute only chance they have. So, Trump didn't win because of racism. He won because he had a message that resonated, a political message with everyone. 15% of black men voted for President Trump. 30% of Latinos and Hispanic Americans voted for Trump. 30% of Asian Americans voted for Trump. He's going to get more votes. He's going to get more votes. Let's see, Roper Center, how groups voted 2016. So, let's see. 30%, almost 30% of Asian Americans, almost 30% of Hispanic and Latino Americans, almost 10% of African Americans, but 15% of black men voted for President Trump. You had 52% of people 45 to 64 voting for Trump compared to 44% and 52% of 65 and over. So, and you had 43% of union households. You had almost 10% of Democrats. This is kind of hilarious. You had most important issues. Which is interesting because foreign policy is my most important issue. But it's really funny. 60% voted for foreign policy with Clinton. It's like, what? Tell me where she's ever had a foreign policy decision that made sense. I want to know. Never. So you have a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where Democrats have every possible advantage. Every single possible advantage. Every single possible advantage. And when I'm telling you every single possible advantage, they have every single possible advantage. And they still can't win. So if Trump won because of racism, then why is Kanye West a Trump supporter? Why did 15% of black men vote for President Trump? Why did 30% of Latinos and 30% of Asian Americans vote for President Trump? It is racist to assume that people are voting against their interests when their interests could be foreign policy pertaining to bringing home Americans, which is what Trump is doing. President Trump gave more money than President Obama to historically black colleges and universities. President Trump signed the First Step Act, which is prison reform legislation. Biden literally stated, you ain't who you are. You are not who you are if you vote for President Trump. So, I mean, what right does Biden have to say that? And then you have, forget not just the crime bill, you have all the things that Biden has said, were infinitely worse than Trump, but they don't have any context. They have no reference point. Their reference point is the New York Times. Like, I know people who just read the New York Times, they think they're educated on politics. Like, no, you're in for another rude awakening. If you read the New York Times and the Washington Post all throughout 2016, you would never, that's why they were so stunned and shocked and surprised, because everything they were told didn't pan out. Or I should say nothing panned out. Nothing actually took place. Like when they're talking about Clinton had a solid electoral college lead and all of these things. Then you have the left and Democrats, and then you have comedians on late night. Their entire lives are predicated upon insults, mockery, euphemisms, this mentality, this echo chamber, social media. It's nothing. There's no emphasis on policies. You can dislike President Trump's policies. You can like President Trump's policies. At least he has policies. What if Democrats passed that their voters really care about? I want to know. Nobody knows. Apparently, they've passed a whole bunch of bills. Tell me which one resonates with Bernie voters, or resonates with the far left, or resonates with anarchists, or resonates with socialists, or resonates with even the I'm with her crowd. Tell me what they're actually talking about, aside from how horrible Trump is. You can't win. You can't win if your only policy is we don't like Trump. Antonio Rosales, thank you. It's going to be Clinton, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be Clinton. Magnificent Tube. Remember you watching 20 likes? Come on now. Let's do this. He is so inspirational. Love that guy. Yes, the Magnificent Tube. Thank you. He's inspirational. What I like about him is that he doesn't care about media. He tells media what to do. Now, most people are afraid of media. This is when Twitter, on a microscopic level, just not to pat myself on the back, okay, but on a microscopic level, I'm not comparing myself to Trump or Kanye at all. Not at all. On a microscopic level, I left Twitter 2 years ago. I left Twitter going on 2 years ago. Deleted the account. If you see anyone impersonating me, they're breaking the law, please go ahead and report them to Twitter. Take screenshots, report them to Twitter. But Twitter and Facebook and social media are fantasy worlds created simply they're message boards that are glorified. They're glorified message boards. They're basically another form of email and message boards, but you can, post pictures and that's about it, and get into arguments with people you don't know. When you walk down the street or you go to the supermarket, do you get into arguments with people? I don't. I always social distance, by the way. Do you think I'm not like a canine? I go up to people's rear end and start sniffing, and I've always social distanced. I think most people did too. Why? I always did that, and I always washed my hands. Who did not wash their hands? I always washed my hands all the time. Okay? I always social distance, always wash my hands. Why would I not do that? I don't tailgate people even in a car, much less walking. Why would I do that? I never bumped into people when I was when I was pushing a shopping cart. What kind of weird people don't wash their hands and go all up into somebody's personal space? Then you have these the Democrats are, you need to wash your hands, everybody. Oh, thanks. I didn't know that. I didn't learn that in kindergarten. I didn't learn this in kindergarten. So, Magnificent Tube, thank you. You got to understand, they are throwing everything, including the kitchen sink. This is the last 3 months, 2 months, to just get out everything they can. You better topple as many statues as you can and try to, utilize social media as much as you can and condemn as much people and judge as many people as you can, because when Trump wins again, bye-bye, left-leaning Democratic Party paradigm, which, all the far left think that. See, the far left is hilarious. They think they're the ones telling Democrats what to do. They don't realize they're getting played. They think they're the ones who were... You have people who believe that Biden is a great candidate. Biden is horrendous. He looks and acts like an exhumed body. This man basically is a cadaver that got Botox and plastic surgery. So, you have this hilarious, they're not going to understand. They don't have a plan B. They saved face, and they were able to circumvent they were mortified, but that didn't last long because they said, well, we were cheated. It wasn't fair. Russia stole the election from us. They haven't explained how Facebook ads swung people's votes. They haven't explained which Facebook ads swung X amount of votes. They haven't explained. So every single day I look and it's repulsive. The headlines are repulsive. It's basically as if, and this is not hyperbole, it's basically as if the Democratic Party, DNC officials are writing for the New York Times. That's not hyperbole. There is nobody wearing a Make America Great Again hat at the New York Times. There is nobody wearing red with, Trump 2020 at anywhere in the Washington Post. These are all people who view Trump to be an absolute nightmare, who view Trump to be a racist monster. So the coverage is apoplectic. And the average person on the left who ordinarily wouldn't vote for Trump and would vote blue no matter who, they're now out of their minds. They are so consumed with vitriol and venom. It's unbelievable. And I don't care who they vote for. Larry, hello. Old school dad, man. H.A., you were the close talker guy. Oh, to the microphone. Old school dad, man. Thank you. But they it's old school dad, man, thank you. It's they are completely and utterly apoplectic, hysterical, fanatical, seething, fuming, frothing at the mouth, rabid, maniacal. They don't have anything that, if you ask, well, what policy really gets you? Well, it's his response. Well, what policy? Well, his overall response. They can't give you anything specific. 5 Democratic states account for over half of the lives lost. 5 Democratic states account for over the half of the lives lost. Over half of the lives lost and over half of the cases. So what did he not do in New York, Michigan, Illinois, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania that he could have done, President Trump? Because I don't think Democrats are saying he didn't do a good job in Wyoming or Kansas or Florida or Texas, which, by the way, Florida and Texas have more people than New York. And they have, like a tiny fraction of the lives lost? So I want to know what did they want President Trump's response to be? And how would Clinton have been different pertaining to those 5 states? Because they say, well, we lead the country, we lead the world. Yeah, we lead the world because we have 5 Democratic states. Look, according to the New York Times. Go look at the New York Times. I'm not making it up. It's the New York Times. It's their own, Big H, hello. It's the New York Times. It's their, like, statistics and data. So, I mean, they don't have a plan B. If Kanye West takes the popular vote away from them, what are they going to do? Are they going to investigate Kanye West for ties to Russia? Good luck with that, because he will sue. And he has the money. He has more money than the entire DNC, like literally times 30, 40, 50, 60. Go ahead, DNC. Go up against Kanye West. See what happens to you. See what happens to you. And all the wonderful attorneys that work for the DNC that think they're like amazing and awesome, and go up against Kanye West. He has the money to take you on forever. They have no plan for November 4th, and November 4th is fast approaching. They don't realize that we have, and this is really, like, I know it sounds bizarre, and this is the truth. This is the truth, ladies and gentlemen. This is the truth. Democrats don't realize we have an election coming up. They do not realize this, people. They don't realize this. I'm trying to tell you. They don't realize this. They don't realize we have an election coming up. Because you don't go into an election with your second string. You don't go into the Super Bowl with your third string quarterback when you have the first string quarterback just waiting to get in. You don't go into the Super Bowl with your second string quarterback. You don't go into Game 7 without your ace. You don't go into the Game 7 NBA championship without your center or without your leading scorer. You think they're going to go with Tales from the Crypt? You think they're going to go with a man who's Rip Van Winkle's nightmare? You think they're going to go with a man who looks like a wax statue of himself that came to life? You think they're going to go with somebody who is like an endless campaign ad for the Republican Party or for Trump? El Cali J, yes, thank you. They're not going to go with Biden. They're going to go with Hillary Clinton. Big Booty, hello. They're not going to go with Tales from the Crypt or Tales from the Crypt's cousin. That ain't going to happen. They're not going to go with... First of all, they have no primary anyway. They don't even have a Democratic primary. The Democratic primary is non-existent. There's no such thing as the Democratic primary. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. There's no such thing as, like, they don't have a primary where meritocracy, the DNC is a private entity, a money-making endeavor. It's called legal graft. That's what politics is very lucrative for both Republicans and Democrats, mainly for Democrats. You want to get a literary agent? You know what? No problem. You want to get a producer at CNN or MSNBC or a Hollywood producer? You know what? Just play ball. That's what's so great about Kanye West. He doesn't care. He'll start his own production company. What does he care? He negotiates and decides his own contracts, his own future, his own finances. He's not beholden to anybody. That's why he doesn't like Democrats. If you're beholden, if the main reason people vote Democrat is because they say, well, they'll protect us from Republicans. They don't protect anyone. They protect themselves. If you look, a series of plain talks. The Plunket of Tammany Hall. A series of very plain talks. A series of very plain talks on very practical Okay, so hold on one second. It's the Plunket of Tammany Hall. And it's by George. Hold on. Plunket of Tammany Hall. A series of very plain talks on very practical politics. George Washington Plunket. And there's a section on legal graft. How graft, honest graft and dishonest graft. And that was written in the, early 1900s, late 1800s. So, on the use of money in politics. So, it's the whole thing. The whole thing is about how to utilize your political position to gain money, influence, and that's been taking place since Tammany Hall. Democrats run a political machine. If you get in the way of the machine, they're going to try to steamroll you. There are certain people, like on a microscopic level, I'm not trying to compare myself to Kanye West or to President Trump, but they tried to silence me. The opposite took place. Because there's no way they could, because editors actually signed off on everything I wrote. That's the funny thing about if you ask people at Salon, I know, or the Huffington Post, they're like embarrassed. But the funny thing is, they signed off on everything I wrote, and The Hill. So, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, give me your thoughts below. I'll be back at around 11:15. I want to thank everybody here to my super chat. Thank you so very much. I'll be back, people, in about 2 hours. And we'll do a late night live stream. Ladies and gentlemen, God bless. To my super chat, thank you. Eric H526, Luke St. Martin, everyone here, to my Australian crew, and to everyone here, thank you so very much. Climb BMX, everybody in Canada, thank you. Australia, thank you. UK, to people in UK, and my viewers in the UK, thank you. Thanks, everybody. If you're watching in Vegas, Lauren, hello, thank you. Hello, thanks to everybody watching, and I'll see you in about an hour, hour and a half or so, 2 hours. Thanks, everybody. Subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel. Right now, I have a great segment on there, and if you want to support my voice long-term, my Patreon is below.